One of the great things about working at Waster is that you get to speak to lots of people and business owners who are super keen on recycling and finding ways to prevent items ending up in landfill. Every day we suggest ways for people to recycle items, i.e. which bin to use, and also locations where common items can be dropped off for free. However, there are also lots of times when we have to admit that a certain item cannot be recycled, or if it is to be recycled, there is actually a steep fee to pay. Let's look at the issue of why certain items can just not be recycled sometimes. In most situations, items can be recycled, but there is a sliding scale. Some materials are very easy to recycle, such as glass, cardboard, or aluminium, but some items are extremely difficult. We will not say impossible, but in reality they are simply not really recycled due to a number of issues. Let's take the example of a nappy or diaper, which is an extremely common item, with a country like Australia disposing of hundreds of millions every year, and not one is recycled. The same applies to many plastic products such as toys, where the item is made up of multiple materials combined. This also, although thankfully less common now, applies to many takeaway coffee cups. Even simple items like plastic bottle tops are not recycled. Recycling works well when an item does not have to be broken up into constituent materials. When it has to be broken up, the chance of recycling very quickly decreases to almost zero. We speak to many people who almost get angry. And what is the reason? Fundamentally, the answer is that someone has to pay for the work of collecting, separating, and recycling the material. And in many cases, no one wants to pay. For niche items, the cost to recycle is quite high, as it involves building facilities and separating materials, which is quite intensive. The cost-benefit analysis from a business perspective does not add up, so no private business invests. Services such as TerraCycle boxes can enable more niche items to be recycled, but this is at considerable cost, which often is too high for small business or individuals. Unfortunately, as no one is willing to pay, the item is not recycled. The only real solutions are to reduce the amount of hard to recycle items and somehow incentivize the recycling of the ones that remain. Many industry bodies and businesses, such as supermarkets, are working on producing more sustainable packaging, which is great, but this is less likely for complex items such as toys. Another solution will be to mandate that producers also pay for recycling programs. This is starting to happen with programs like the Nespresso pods, but there is a very long way to go. If recycling a product was built into the cost of buying a simple item like a toy, a nappy, or a coffee pod, the national economy will be transformed in many ways. This would of course lead to vastly increased regulation and standards for nearly every item. Is Australia ready for that? Or do we prefer cheap products? For lots more recycling info, visit us at waster.com.au and tell us what you think.